ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು ಡಿಜಿಟಲ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ DCE. Myself Jayashree Pattar, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Maharani Science College for Women, Bangalore. Today we'll study about Algebra 4 Group Theory Session 1. In this, we are going to study about normal subgroup and related theorems to the normal subgroup. Definition: let G be a group, H be a subgroup of G. H is said to be a normal subgroup of G if GH is equal to HG for all G belongs to G. That means when we consider a group G and we'll take H as the subgroup of G, then H is said to be a subgroup of G if and only if the left coset is equal to right coset for every G in the group G. Then we call that H as a normal subgroup. Note here, this definition does not state that necessarily GH is equal to HG for each G belongs to G and H belongs to H. It only states that the sets GH and HG coincide. So from this note, we can see that if G is a element of G and small h is the element of H, and there must exist an element H1 belongs to H, which is not necessarily the same element as H, such that GH is equal to H1G. Or we can define the normal subgroup as, if we consider H as a subset of group G, then that subset H is called as a normal subgroup of G if and only if it satisfies the following two conditions. First one is H is a subgroup of G. That means it has to be a subgroup of G, first condition. And the second condition, if small h is an element of H, then GH G inverse belongs to H for every G in G. If these two conditions are satisfied, then we can say that the subset H of a group G is normal subgroup of G. Equivalently, if small h belongs to H, then G inverse HG belongs to H for every G belongs to G. That means we can have GH G inverse belongs to H or G inverse HG belongs to H. Then we say H is a normal subgroup of G. Then we can denote this normal subgroup of G as H is H triangle G, or we can read this as H is a normal subgroup of G. Next we have note here. First note, a normal subgroup is also known as invariant subgroup or a self-conjugate subgroup or a normal divisor of the group. That means these are the different names for normal subgroup. We can also call it as an invariant subgroup of the group G, or we can say it is a self-conjugate subgroup or a normal divisor of the group. Second note, for a group G, G and the identity element E are always normal subgroups of G, and these are called trivial normal subgroups or improper normal subgroups of the group G. Because we know group is a subset of itself and identity element is the element of every group, and this H and G and E are always normal subgroups of G, and these two are called as the trivial normal subgroups or improper normal subgroups. So now we learned the definition of a normal subgroup, which is when we consider H as the subset of the group G and G is a group, then we can say that G as the normal subgroup of G if and only if G is a subgroup of G and GH G inverse must belong to the H. Then only we can say H is a normal subgroup of G. Next we'll see here example. If we consider a group G as 1, -1, I and minus I is a group under multiplication, and we'll consider the subgroup H as H is equal to 1 and -1 be a subgroup of G. Then we have to verify that whether H is a normal subgroup of G or not. For that, we have to verify the condition whether GHG inverse belongs to H or not. For every H in G, H in capital H and G in capital G. Okay. For that, first we'll take the first element of the subgroup H as small h is equal to 1. Then 1 into 1 into 1 is equal to 1. That means G value is 1 here, H is 1 and inverse of G is 1 only. Inverse of 1 is 1. Therefore, GHG inverse, we are getting it as a 1 which belongs to H. We can see here 1 is the element of H. Similarly, to take the other element of G, that is minus 1 into H into inverse of minus 1. Inverse of minus 1 is also minus 1. Therefore, minus 1 into minus 1, we are getting it as a 1, which belongs to H. Next, you take the third element of the group G, which is I. Let it be small g, and H is 1 here. And the inverse of I will be minus I. Therefore, GHG inverse, that we are getting as a minus I square. But minus I square is nothing but 1. 1 belongs to H. Then take the last element of the group G, which is minus I into H is equal to 1. And inverse of minus I is plus I. Therefore, minus I into 1 into plus I is equal to minus I square, which is nothing but 1. Again, it belongs to H. Therefore, for small h is equal to 1, we saw here GHG inverse belongs to H. Then we have one more element in the H, that is minus 1. For this also, whether the GHG inverse condition satisfies or not, we'll check. Let H is equal to minus 1. Then again same thing, you have to take the element from G. For each element, you have to check whether GHG inverse belongs to H or not. Same thing here, 1 into minus 1 into 1 is equal to minus 1. That belongs to H. Then second element of your group G, that is minus 1 into H value is minus 1. And the inverse of minus 1 is minus 1. Therefore, GHG inverse, we are getting it as a minus 1 belongs to H. Then the next element is I, and its inverse is minus I. Therefore, I into minus 1 into minus I, we get it as a I square, that is minus 1, will belongs to H. Similarly, the last element of the group G is minus I into H is minus 1, and the inverse of minus I is plus I. Therefore, minus I into minus 1 into I is equal to I square, which is nothing but minus 1 belongs to H. Hence, for each H in capital H, for G in capital G, we are getting GHG inverse belongs to H. Hence, we can say that H is a normal subgroup of G. We'll see one more example here. Every subgroup of an abelian group is normal. Every subgroup of an abelian group is normal means abelian group is nothing but a commutative group, wherever A into B is equal to B into A. In the same way here, in the normal group, how we define? It is nothing but if the left coset is equal to right coset. GH is equal to HG. So that condition is similar to your abelian group, that is commutative group here. Hence, we can say that every subgroup of an abelian group is normal. See here the solution, since every left coset of a subgroup of an abelian group is equal to the corresponding right coset. That means left coset GH is equal to HG. When left coset is equal to right coset, then we say that it is a normal subgroup. The same condition is in the abelian group. Therefore, it follows that every subgroup of an abelian group is normal. Then note we have here, every cyclic group being an abelian group, it follows that every subgroup of a cyclic group is normal. Every subgroup is an abelian group, that we know. Hence, every subgroup of an cyclic group is again a normal subgroup. So we learned that every subgroup of an abelian group is also normal, and cyclic group, subgroup of a cyclic group is also a normal subgroup. We'll see one more example. Here, a set of integers is taken with the binary operation addition. I comma plus is a group, and we'll consider the set of all even integers, that is h comma plus. That means they have taken group as a set of integers with a binary operation addition, and subgroup are the subset as set of all even integers under addition is a subgroup of I. Now we have to show that H is also a normal subgroup of I. That means here again we have to check whether GH inverse belongs to H or not. For that, we'll take one element from the set of integers, let it be M. M belongs to I, and we'll take one even number from the subset H or from the subgroup H. That is 2n belongs to H. Then GH inverse is equal to, our G is M and H is 2n here, and inverse of M will be minus M, and the operation is here addition. Binary operation is addition. Therefore, M plus 2n plus of minus M, we'll get it as a 2n. Again, it belongs to H. Hence, for every M in I, 2n in H, we are getting M plus 2n plus of minus M belongs to H. That is GH G inverse belongs to H. Hence, H is a normal subgroup of I. Then we'll see one more definition, that is simple group. A group G which is not equal to an identity element E is said to be a simple group if it has no proper normal subgroups. That means if it has only improper normal subgroups, then such type of groups are called as the simple groups. Or we can define it as a group G is said to be a simple if its only normal subgroups are the identity subgroup E and G itself. That means if the given group has G and the identity element as the only two subgroups, then such type of group is called as a simple group. For example, here, every group of prime order is simple. So, when we take a group of prime order, then that group is again a simple group. That is what here, since a group of prime order has no proper subgroups. That means it has only improper subgroups. So, it has no proper normal subgroup. It will not have, when it is not having any proper subgroup, then it will not be having any proper normal subgroups. Hence, we can say that that group is a group of prime order is a simple group. Again, example here, a cyclic group of composite order is never a simple group. Since every cyclic group of composite order surely possesses a proper subgroup, and every subgroup of a cyclic group being normal, so the result follows. That means here, for every cyclic group of composite order has a proper subgroup. Hence, when it has a proper subgroup, then it is not possible to have as a simple group. Hence, a cyclic group of composite order is never a simple group, because a cyclic group of composite order will be having proper subgroups. It will be having improper as well as proper subgroups. Hence, we can say that a cyclic group of composite order is never a simple group. Similarly, we can have an abelian group of composite order is never a simple group. Here also same thing. This an abelian group of composite order will be having proper as well as improper subgroups. Hence, it will never become a simple group. Now we'll see some theorems on normal subgroups. Theorem 1. A subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if GH inverse belongs to H, for all G belongs to G and for all H belongs to H. So here we have to prove that if H is a subgroup of G and it is normal if and only if GH inverse belongs to H. So in both the way we have to prove here. Conversely also, if and only if means, first what we'll do, we'll consider H as a normal subgroup of G, then we'll prove GH inverse belongs to H. And conversely, if we consider GH inverse belongs to H, then we have to show that H is a normal subgroup of G. Okay, we see the proof. Let H be a normal subgroup of G. That is given here. H is a normal subgroup of G. Then we have to prove GH inverse belongs to H. Then GH is equal to HG for all G belongs to G. When we have H as a normal subgroup, from the definition of normal subgroup, we can write this left coset is equal to right coset for every G belongs to G. Now we'll have small h as an arbitrary element of this normal subgroup H. When it is an arbitrary element, from the definition we can write GH is equal to H dash G for some H dash belongs to H. Since GH is equal to HG, therefore GH inverse, which is nothing but H dash belongs to H. What we have here, GH is equal to H dash G. If you operate on both sides from G inverse, we'll get GH inverse is equal to H dash G into G inverse. But G into G inverse is an identity element which will become H dash. Therefore, here GH G inverse is equal to H dash we are getting, and H dash is the element of H. Hence, we can say that GH G inverse also belongs to H. Then conversely here, let H be a subgroup of G. We'll take H as the subgroup of G and GH G inverse belongs to H for all G belongs to G and for all H belongs to H. Then here we have to prove that H is a normal subgroup of G. Okay, for that we'll consider one element from the group G. Let it be A and H be any element of capital H. Then AH A inverse belongs to H. This is given. When we have taken G as the element of capital G and H as the element of capital H, it is given that GH G inverse belongs to H. So in the same way, when we take an element A from the group G, we can also write it as AH A inverse belongs to H. Now we'll have here AH belongs to A into H because small h is the element of capital H. Hence AH belongs to AH we can write. But AH can be written as AH into A inverse A. This A inverse A is nothing but the identity element. Identity element into any element will get the same element here. So we have to make the adjustment here AH A inverse A, and that can be written as in bracket you write AH A inverse and outside it is A, and that belongs to HA because AH A inverse is an element of H. It belongs to H, which is given here. That is the given condition. Therefore, this AH A inverse will become as a capital H. Hence, AH A inverse into A belongs to HA. Thus, each element of AH is in HA. See here, we started with AH and that belongs to HA. Therefore, each element of AH is in HA. That is, AH is the subset of HA. Let it be equation 1. Again, we'll consider HA belongs to HA. Here, see, first we started with A into small h belongs to AH. Then we showed AH is the subset of HA. Now we'll have HA belongs to HA. But HA can be written as, again same thing, you operate on the left side with A into A inverse. A into A inverse, H into A, that is equal to A. In bracket you take it as A inverse HA. Again same thing here, A inverse HA will get it as a capital H. Therefore, we'll get it as HA is the subset of AH. Equation 2. So here from equation 1, we have AH is the subset of HA, and from equation 2, HA is the subset of AH. Therefore, from 1 and 2, we can have AH is equal to HA. That is, left coset is equal to right coset for all A belongs to G, which is nothing but the definition of normal subgroup. Hence, we can say that H is a normal subgroup of G. Next theorem here, theorem 2. A subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if GHG inverse is equal to capital H for all G belongs to G. So here we have to prove that when H is a subgroup of G, which is normal, if and only if GHG inverse is equal to H. In first theorem we proved if and only if GHG inverse is subset of H. Here GHG inverse is equal to H for all G belongs to G. This is what we have to prove. For that again, in the proof, we'll consider H be a normal subgroup of G, which is given here. When H is the normal subgroup of G, then we have to show GHG inverse is equal to H. Okay. So H is a normal subgroup of G means from the definition we know that when it is a normal subgroup means we can write GHG inverse belongs to H for every H in H and G in G. Therefore, GHG inverse is the subset of H. When it belongs to H means we can write it is a subset of H. Take it as equation 1. Again, we'll have one arbitrary element small h of capital H. Then for all G belongs to G, we have H is equal to GHG inverse H G inverse. That means on both sides you operate with G inverse. So H can be written as G inverse H G inverse. Then you take the bracket for G inverse HG. That becomes G inverse HG is nothing but your capital H. Therefore, it belongs to GHG inverse. Since here H being the normal, G inverse HG belongs to capital H. Therefore, H is the arbitrary element of H here, and H belongs to GHG inverse we have proved. Hence, I can write it as H is a subset of GHG inverse. Take it as equation 1, 2. So from equation 1 and 2, we can have GHG inverse belongs to H. Then conversely, if GHG inverse is equal to H for all G belongs to G, then for any element H in capital H, GHG inverse belongs to G capital H G inverse. And therefore, GHG inverse belongs to H for every H in H and G in G. This shows that H is normal. Here, in conversely, we have taken GHG inverse belongs to H, then we have to show H is a normal subgroup. When GHG inverse belongs to H means, when we consider H as the element, we can say GHG inverse is the subset of G capital H G inverse, and therefore GHG inverse belongs to H for every H in H and G is in G. Hence, we can say that H is a normal subgroup. Third theorem here. Theorem 3. A subgroup H of a group G is normal if and only if every right coset of H in G is a left coset of H in G. That means when we have taken H as a normal subgroup, if and only if the right coset of H in G is a left coset of H in G, then we can say that H is a normal subgroup of G. For that proof, let H be a normal subgroup of a group G. Here, H is a normal subgroup of G. When it is true, then we have to show left coset is in G is again a right coset in G. For that, H be a normal subgroup of G means from the previous theorem, we can write GHG inverse is equal to H for all G belongs to G. That implies GHG inverse into G is equal to GH. That means you have to operate G from the right side on both sides of this equation. G inverse is equal to H. When I operate G on both sides from the right side, we'll get it as G inverse into G is equal to Hg for every G in G. Or we can rewrite this as GH in one bracket and this G inverse G in another bracket. That is equal to Hg, or GH is equal to Hg, because this G inverse G becomes an identity element. Hence, GH is equal to Hg for all G belongs to G. Therefore, every right coset of H in G is a left coset of H in G. Then conversely, if we prove here, conversely, what we have, let every right coset of H in G be a left coset of H in G. That means we have here GH is equal to Hg. Then we'll prove that H is a normal subgroup of G. For every G in G, let Hg be the right coset. And for all X belongs to G, XH be the left coset. That means we will have two left and right cosets of H in G. That is, Hg be the right coset and XH be the left coset. Therefore, Hg is equal to XH because it is given. Every right coset of H in G be the left coset of H in G. Therefore, Hg is equal to XH. Can write, let G belongs to Hg, that is equal to XH. Because here Hg is equal to XH, then when we have G belongs to Hg, then we can say G also belongs to XH and G belongs to GH, because left coset and right cosets, every right coset of H in G is a left coset of H in G. Therefore, here when G belongs to Hg, we can also say that G belongs to GH. Therefore, G belongs to Hg as well as G belongs to XH, because Hg is equal to XH. Hence, I can write this G belongs to Hg as and G belongs to Hx. Therefore, GH is equal to XH, because two left cosets are either identical or disjoint here. So here we are getting two left cosets. They are Hx and GH, and both of them either they will be identical or disjoint. Okay. Therefore, Hg is equal to GH for all G belongs to G, and that implies G inverse Hg is equal to G inverse G into H, or G inverse Hg is equal to E into H, because G inverse G again an identity element E into H, and that belongs to G inverse Hg is equal to H. Again, from theorem 2, we can say that H is a normal subgroup of G. Next theorem. Theorem number 4. A subgroup H of a group G is a normal subgroup of G if and only if the product of two right or left cosets of H in G is also a right or left coset of H in G. So the fourth theorem here, what it says, when we have H as a normal subgroup of G, then the product of two right cosets or the left cosets is again a right or a left coset of H in G. For that, again same thing here, we'll consider H as the normal subgroup of G, and we will have two right cosets. They are HA and HB, be any two right cosets of H. Next, we'll consider the product of these two right cosets as HA into HB is equal to, we can write this as H into AH into B, and that is equal to H. AH is written as HA because here we have HB a normal subgroup. They have given H is a normal subgroup of G. When H is a normal subgroup means left coset is equal to right coset. It satisfies that condition. Hence, here AH can be written as HA. Therefore, H into HA into B. Since H is normal, that implies AH is equal to HA. And that is equal to, you take the bracket for these two H, H into H into AB, or H into H is equal to H itself again. Hence, H into AB will become as H into AB. That is what we started with HA into HB, two right cosets, and we are getting it as H into AB. That is what the product of two right cosets of H in G is also a right coset of H. Again, we are getting a right coset itself. Hence, here the product of two right cosets of a group G is again a right coset of H in G. Conversely, let the product of any two right cosets of H be also a right coset of H in G. That means, conversely, we'll assume that the product of any two right cosets of H is again a right coset of H in G. Then we'll show that H is a normal subgroup of G. For that, we'll have an element X from G. If X belongs to G, then X inverse also belongs to G. Because we know when group is G is a group means for every element of G there is an inverse. Hence, if we have taken X as an element of G, X inverse also belongs to G. Therefore, Hx and Hx inverse are two right cosets of H in G. Because here we have two right cosets of H in G, it is given, and when I have X as the element of G, X inverse is also the element of G, then the right cosets Hx and Hx inverse are the two right cosets of H in G. And by data, their product Hx into Hx inverse is a right coset of H in G. That is given here. The product of two right cosets is again a right coset of H in G. Hence, my two right cosets are Hx and Hx inverse. Therefore, their product is also a right coset of H in G. Now, we'll have the identity element E is equal to, this can be written as X into X inverse. Or we can write it as Ex into Ex inverse. That belongs to Hx into Hx inverse, because E is an element of H here. Therefore, Ex into Ex inverse belongs to Hx into Hx inverse. Thus, Hx into Hx inverse and H are two right cosets of H in G having a common element are identical. Both of them have the common element, that is E. Hence, we can say that Hx into Hx inverse is equal to H. Consequently, here H1 into X into Hx inverse belongs to H. That means when you have particular elements from H and a particular element from G, then also we can write H1x into Hx inverse belongs to H for every X in G and H1H in H. Therefore, H1 inverse H1 into XH X inverse belongs to H1 inverse into H, or we can write it as XH X inverse belongs to H. Because H inverse is the element in H, that implies H inverse into H is equal to H. Therefore, H is a normal subgroup of G. And these are the following references we can refer for further study. Thank you.